Have you ever looked at your cat and thought, she should be drunk?
There's nothing like hitting the Stairmaster with a margarita.
And we go wine tasting and probably get a little tipsy. Coming up today on The Point. Hello and welcome to The Point, the only talk show bringing gay and straight men together to see what happens. And today we have a very special guest co-host, sommelier and wine consultant, Zoltan Szabo.
Hello.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Which means we're going to jump right into talking point number one. Start your whining.
Can't wait. Let's do it. I'm ready.
Zoltan, actually, how did you get into this? How does one become a sommelier?
Well, you study for it, just like when you become a mechanic or a doctor or an engineer or whatnot. I mean, we know it's a known fact that all of us born with the same olfactive sensors, with the same palate, but you have to train them. You have to learn how to taste, what to smell for, what to taste for, whatnot. So you go to school. Just like with any other academic.
What made you decide to go into that?
Because I have an Eastern European background, and it's very common.
You're from Hungary, right?
I'm from Transylvania, as a matter of fact, which is part of Romania.
I thought that was just made up for Frankfurt.
No, that's a real place.
A real place. It's part of Romania after the World War, after the Trianon Treaty, as a matter of fact. But my nationality is Hungarian. I'm Canadian, and I'm a very proud one indeed. I've been living in Canada for longer than 20 years now. But, it's very common that where I come from, we make wine, homemade wine, that is. I mean, not necessarily for commercial purposes, but rather for, consumption. We drink what we make. But then we also had a little boutique and a variety store where we commercialized, alcoholic beverages before I came to Canada. So I had an ability not even an ability, rather, that I liked it. I like gastronomy, I like to eat, I like to drink, plus watching my parents, making wine every autumn. I came to Canada with no English, no money, no nothing. It made perfect sense to, get into an industry that I have some sort of a knowledge or background in, and that was food and wine, even though, no English, no nothing, but that came a few years later, obviously.
And do you find that there's a lot that people don't know about? Because I know nothing about, I'll be honest, I know almost nothing about wine.
And that's fine.
There's red.
Yeah, and then there's white.
And then there's like a weird blend
of the two. And then there's table.
And that's perfectly fine because, to be frank, nobody knows everything about wine. And wine, it's a never-ending learning story. As I said, you train, you learn.
Like the ocean.
I learn something every day, if not on hourly or minutely basis. The best wine is actually, to put it very simple and straightforward here, is the one that you like. And as older as I'm growing, I'm coming to that conclusion. If you like Pinot Noir, well, so be it. That's what you drink. And I don't make it a big hoop-de-doo, this wine thing. I mean, the old days when a cocky sommelier walked up to you and said you have to have that particular dish or food, and you have to drink white wine or red meat and red wine, those days are over.
Oh.
And frankly, this whole thing with food and wine, it does come down to somewhat to the personal taste. But again, aside that, I'm not trying to talk myself out of my own paychecks and money. And this is indeed a beautiful industry, a glamorous one and all that, but it's a business. And, of course, there's a lot more to it. It's a whole wide world around wines, and it's very, very exciting and fascinating. Some of the most fascinating people in the world that I have met throughout my career are in this business, winemakers and wine producers and winery owners and whatnot. So it's
I have a sort of left field question. Where does the word sommelier come from?
Well, it's a French term, but if you want to take it even further down the road, apparently it's a Roman term, because even back to the Roman Empire, there was a function that made sure that the right food and the right wine, it's catered to nobility and to the Caesars. And back to those days, I also read that they used to throw these extravagant parties, extravagant for a lack of a better term. They were orgies. If anything, or on that note and everything else, and the role of the sommelier back then was to water down the wine. So the sommelier was the person apparently who watched the situation, meaning what's going on. As the
Like a bouncer, kind of?
As the party proceeded. So the more the attendants, were drinking, the more water got into the wine. So that was the role of the sommelier. But also the sommelier was in charge when they were transporting wines, and then how to, the wine be transported and whatnot. Back then on donkeys.
So how many orgies have you had to watch?
Well, nowadays, things changed. We digress, and we evolved rather, just like wine. But back to those days, apparently, wine had a multifunctional role.
Doug.
Well, you basically made a similar job. I was going to say what wine goes best with an orgy.
Oh.
That was, I
Thought
thought
Watered
better
down wine.
Watered down wine.
Yeah.
Actually, so you brought some, because when we were initially talking about you coming on the show, see, he's already sniffing the bouquet.
See, I never know what that means. I smell it. I'm like, yep, smells like wine. Like,
Well, you swirl the thing. You do it because you look pretty clever. No. I'm humorously, but the reason for that is that although I catch myself doing it with my coffee in the morning, but you do it because you speed up the process of having wine exposed to oxygen. So as much as oxygen is the enemy of wine, we know that you cut an apple in half, you leave it on the counter overnight, it gets brown, it gets oxidized. Just like wine, with time, wine gets oxidized. But in a short term, in this case, you speed up the process of having wine, exposed to oxygen. So therefore, those beautiful aromatics and flavors, aroma and flavor esters, emerge quicker, faster, and better. So you get a better bouquet, poetically called. You get a better nose. So you.
And does that help with the taste of the wine?
Yeah, of course, because it's more pronounced, it's more detectable, it's more recognizable and everything. And I have to tell you that it's not a whole big made-up poetic mumbo jumbo. This thing when you see a taster describing aromatics and flavors, because frankly, you take a glass of wine to a lab, you may be able to find the same aroma and flavor molecules as a good taster is able to describe. But of course, everything comes down to the ability of your olfactive sensors, your palate, of discovering these aromas and flavors, and also your memory has to be in place because your palate communicates with a certain area of the brain through the retronasal passage. How the hell did I pull that out from there? But it's true. It's medically and biologically, and I say how so because sometimes you smell something without tasting and you say this is sweet, but you have not.
That's true.
Exactly. That's the game that your olfactive sensors play with your brain. You have to taste it. We know that we're talking about 4 basic taste sensations. The human palate is able to detect only 4 5 umami, but then we're getting into a different, more philosophical, category of aromas and flavors.
Well, speaking of tasting wine, what wines did you bring today?
Well, I have to say that today we have some terrific wines here. We have a local sparkling wine from Niagara Peninsula. And
A lot of wine is made on the Niagara Peninsula, right?
A lot of wine and a lot of good wine. Especially the last decade or so, the local, grape growing and winemaking industry had come a long way, and we do produce, some stellar wines. I used to use the term, world class, but then I learned to hate that term, world class. But terrific, stellar wines, excellent wines, high quality wines, premium and ultra premium wines, and we do really good with sparkling wine production. You know why? Because we are indeed situated in a cool climatic, zone. I mean, it's obviously, the 42nd northerly latitude crosses the Niagara Peninsula. But that the same northern latitude, crosses the northern tip of Tuscany and Burgundy and Champagne and whatnot. So cool climate, actually, look at cool climate as a positive factor rather than a negative one. And that's why, going back to sparkling wines, obviously you have this succulent, refreshing, thirst-quenching acidity, which come from grapes grown in cool climate. Grape growing zones, grape growing areas. So this is by Henry of Pelham. I'm not gonna lie, they're very good friends of mine. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the boys. The Speck brothers own the estate, and a pioneering.
And this is a rosé.
Rosé, so made from.
Right.
Yes.
Now there was a time, because I like rosé.
Yeah.
But there was a time when I would drink rosé and people would go, "Oh, rosé. Who invited her?"
That was, before I even came to Canada, 25 or so years ago. I went to London, England, me and my friend ordered a bottle of rosé. I mean, it was a interesting thing to watch the reaction, but we can care less. I mean, wine is a wholly inclusive thing. I mean, we live in the 21st century, and people go to the moon on a daily basis. Like, this kind of issues should be completely ignored.
So
actually.
we get to
Yes,
try
of course.
this?
Yes, of course.
Pull it up. It's
Wait, so
pretty.
what is a stigma with rosé? Is that supposed to be like a feminine thing?
Well, I mean, as I said, maybe in the past, but now I don't think anymore.
Okay.
Like, I mean, if anything, rosé, it's a very pretty color. It's appetizing. The spring, summer is here. Sunny outside. You have a nice, crisp, chilled rosé. It's appealing and tantalizing. And visuality. The visual appeal of food and wine, actually, it's a huge factor when it comes to the overall enjoyment. Yeah. Anybody? Don't leave out the sommelier. Unbelievable. Yeah. That's going on here, And no, we are not alcoholics, actually. Although it's the temptation, it's there, and we do taste for living. But again, the tasks and
It's really tasty.
So do you spit it out? Like
yeah,
after you
you
taste it?
You spit. Well, you
I
obviously
spit mine out.
you look at the color when you taste like a pro. You look at the color, because color is indication of so many things, actually, and I'm not gonna get into, because we have a short. You look at the color, plus you mimic, you make faces, you look like an academic, you look like you are intelligible and whatnot, and then you swirl, and then you check those. How do you call those marks, by the way? Dripping back in the
Fingers, aren't they?
I don't know.
The tears.
Legs.
Tears
of regret.
Legs, yes and no, somewhat incorrect, because in a dining room environment, I mean, that got legs and all that. But to be politically correct, you call them tears. So then you smell, you get the bouquet, as you said earlier, and then you taste.
It's the bubbles.
I know.
It's the bubbles.
And this is delicious, actually. This is made from, I mean, almost entirely from
trying
Pinot
it.
Noir grapes.
No, I'm gonna save it for the rest.
Okay, so
Like
so
sparkling?
what's next on the agenda?
Next,
that was good. I give it a yeah.
A 10 out of 10.
You're not drinking?
No, I will.
I wanna.
Do we have a receptacle?
There, okay. Water in the wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water in the wine, like.
Well, on that note, like, I mean, I don't want to be, too religious, or neither to crack a joke on this, especially this, period of the year. But, the boss, Jesus, the best sommelier. I mean, I yet to turn water into wine. Anything else I've done, but.
So now this is a white.
This is a white, actually, from a spectacular, picturesque, beautiful place called Santorini, the island of Santorini.
Santorini. I was there last year.
In the Aegean, a volcanic island. It is
I
said
went up
that.
the volcano.
Oh my God! And then you saw the caldera too, where it's erupted from.
Yeah.
And it is said that 4,000 years ago, a supervolcano took place, and then obviously all these grapes and everything. In this case, a grape called Assyrtiko, indigenous Santorinian Greek grape grown in, volcanic, lava, volcanic soil types rather. And, the vines are trained, very interesting, looking like a bird cage, because remember, you are on an island over open sea, so a lot of dust and, particles and whatnot. Once the grape skin, breaks, you can kiss goodbye to your harvest. So they train vines looking like a bird cage and the bunches hanging from the inside, so they are protected. It's something phenomenal. And this, mineral and intense and, acidic and highly food versatile white wine is produced. It stinks a little bit, and I like that.
No, sting. Like, it doesn't sting when I drink it, and most wine is always like.
It's a very light.
This is so good.
So white wine is more
love
acidic
white
than
wine.
red wine.
Well, I mean,
I just
Oh, yeah,
want to know
this is nice.
what's the difference. Like
well, the difference is first and foremost is the color. But on that note, elaborating, when it comes to color a step further, red grape juice and white grape juice, the color is same. It's clear. So the color comes from the skin. Pigments, chlorophyll and all kinds of other, not chloroform, because you die from that.
Right.
Pigments, color pigments and chlorophyll and all kinds of other things found in the grape skin. So that's where, color of red wine comes from.
Speaking of red wine,
Yes.
This is a very fancy schmancy red wine, right?
I have to say, and actually I'm a huge fan of this area called Burgundy, central France. Just like an hour and a half southwest from Paris. You drive, you rent a car, whatnot, then you hit the town of Dijon. Dijon mustard comes from, or Key Royale. One of the former mayors of Dijon, the town of Dijon, discovered a cocktail that is fancy nowadays, and it's been for, a couple of hundred years, whatnot. So Dijon, and then further south of Dijon, you get to Chablis. That's the first appellation of Burgundy, and then the Côte d'Or, the northern, slope, divided in two, the northerly area, Côte de Nuit, then Côte de Beaune, and then Mâconnais, and
so all these different wines, we think of them as the wines themselves, but they're really regions of France, right?
Yes, of course. I mean, when it comes to labeling of wine, obviously wine, it's, there are appellations, appellations that, grape growing and wine making is legislated. Even here in Ontario nowadays, our appellation system, it's called the Vintners Quality Alliance, and it's written into provincial and federal legislature. But when it comes to, just to make a point, when it comes to old world wine and labeling, they label by place of origin rather than Napa Valley Cabernet.
So this is from
Burgundy. And this is actually from Côte de Nuit, and it's a premier cru, and it's a spectacular Pinot Noir, 100% Pinot Noir red wine.
And Pinot Noir is Pinot Noir, but if it's like Pinot Noir is kind of like champagne, like sparkling wine is champagne.
Pinot Noir is just a grape.
Pinot Noir is just a grape. Yeah. Burgundy, so you can make Pinot Noir that's not from Burgundy, but if it's from Burgundy, it's Burgundy. It's like champagne. You can make champagne that's sparkling wine that's not from Champagne, France. But okay, look.
And you cannot.
You got it, Fred. You got it.
Yeah, you cannot call sparkling wine champagne because champagne is a
big red
trademark term, actually.
It is? Really? I didn't know.
So outside of champagne, you can make, champagne style sparkling wines using the method champenoise, second, two fermentations, using the same grapes and everything, but yet you cannot call your sparkling wine champagne. Champagne comes from the region of Champagne, northern, France.
Right.
That
is, I'm not a big fan of red wine, but as far as red wines go, that's really good.
Strawberry jam.
I mean, it's bright and and pretty and floral and red cherry and silky tannins. It's some of the finest wines on earth, in my view, come from Burgundy.
Ooh.
And the last one, I'm really excited about this last one.
That smells strong.
It smells like strawberry jam.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you don't get that?
What's
You can
I
use
haven't tasted it yet.
It's a strong taste.
We come back to this is a Hungarian dessert wine, actually, Tokai. It's in the northeast corner of Hungary.
I love dessert wine.
Is that like ice wine? Is that what
No, completely different, and that's exactly the thing I'm gonna explain. You know, this is like Sauterne, the famous French dessert wine. This Tokai, in my view, it's even more famous actually, but it's made through the same process from botrytis affected grapes, meaning grapes that are rotten, but this rot, it's called the noble rot or botrytis cinerea in Latin, that does beneficial things to the grape, meaning this louse lives on the grape skins and pokes microscopic little holes and sucks the water out, feeds on water. So where there's no water, you have more concentration of sugar, sweetness, whatnot. So it's all natural, it's all everything.
That is delicious.
Tokai also a volcanic area. You have a lot of volcanic tufa and everything, and volcanic wines. Nowadays are very, very popular.
Smells like apple juice.
Nutrients in the soil.
Of course. Well, it's hard to explain what's going on a molecular level, but my friend John's book, that he had researched and just came out and was, book of the year in the industry and whatnot. It's about volcanic wines. We don't know how to explain what's going on a molecular level, how the minerals from the soil translate into the glass, but we know that volcanic areas tend to produce more intense, more gritty, more salty, saline, savory, goddamn good wine.
That's very good.
Which one has the highest percentage?
That's all Tito cares
Or
about.
what?
Which one's the one
alcohol.
that's gonna get him
alcohol.
drunk?
This is juice. Like that is so sweet. It's so
I
nice.
love it. I love it. I love dessert wine.
It's sweet, but balance. It's balance. It's all about balance. Sweetness balanced by acidity. Actually, the finish it's non-cloying and it's quite on the dry note.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Well, now that we're all a little tipsy, it's time for Tito's midpoint.
That's gonna be fun. So this week we're playing mood point. I'm wasting.
3 sips and he is trash.
We're playing mood point. So true or false.
It's warm in here.
These are all true or false. So
Here we go.
So hold on. So you're gonna say something, and then we just have to
True or
say
false?
if it's true or false.
And it's all related to alcohol, isn't
it's
it?
all alcohol and wine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are 13 minerals that are essential for human life, and all of them can be found in alcohol. True or false?
True.
True.
I'm gonna say true.
False.
False.
Do you,
False.
Probably true.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
Salud.
Cheers to that.
Oh my god, we should play a game.
L'chaim.
Every time you get it right, you have to say it.
Okay.
We're playing this game.
All wines are vegan. True or false?
That's
True.
false, actually.
False.
Really?
I'm gonna jump on his team because I feel like you know. So false.
It's false. Yeah. Some go through a filtration process that uses animal byproducts like gelatin.
And
straight through a cow's teeth.
egg whites and all kinds of other things that I don't even want to mention, actually.
What's the grossest?
Beaver extra. Remember
You're
last
not
time?
far, actually, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
anal
But then,
gland.
Anal glands.
well, you did research very
We did
well.
that on another episode. We had some people come to
I
do
like
like.
that. I like that when people do research. Exactly.
Tito,
So-
just to take the compliment.
it's
Somebody
not,
is complimenting you on
I
your
did research. I did research.
So just take the compliment.
I was hesitant to even say what theirs is, but yeah, you're
Oh,
on
we
the
can
right.
talk about anal glands here.
Talk about anything.
It's actually what we always
my
talk
God.
about.
Yeah, we almost exclusively.
Wine,
All right, Tito, what do you got?
wine flavored Kit Kats are a thing. True or false?
Wine flavored Kit Kats?
True.
100% true.
How do you know this?
Because it's in Japan, and they're
Yes.
crazy over there.
You can
yeah.
only get them in Japan and on Amazon, but still. Italy has a free 24-hour wine fountain. True or false?
Wine fountain?
True. I just saw that.
If it's Italy, I'd say yes.
I just saw that on the
Yeah, it's my same reasoning.
Yes. it's-
And it's in the Vatican.
This so-called
So that was true?
Fontana di
Yeah.
Vino is located in the Dora Sarchese vineyard
Sir Jay-Z. Sir.
in the small town of Caladari di Ortona, which sits on the Italian pilgrimage route of Camino di San Tommaso.
Yeah. On the pilgrimage route, of course.
Drinking to one's health
Wait,
started
what?
in
Was that the, are you just saying?
That's where the fountain is.
So that's true or
it's true,
false?
it's
True.
Was that a question, or is that set up for the next thing?
No, I was literally telling you where it's located.
Where the fountain is.
Okay.
Well, I'll never be able to find it.
Okay, so now you're gonna ask us the true or false thing?
Oh my god, drink more.
Are you?
Drinking to one's health started in ancient Rome. True or false?
False.
No, that's true, actually.
True. I'm gonna go true.
I would think
I'm
true.
always on
I'm going
his team.
false.
It's false.
Really?
It started
Greek,
in
right?
ancient Greece. Yes.
Oh.
Not Rome. Women are better wine tasters. True or false?
True. Women are better at everything.
I have to agree.
Nice.
I have to agree, especially lately. You know, like fantastic. Some you know, their abilities. It's better than ours.
It's true because wine tasting has so much to do with smell, and women, especially those of reproductive age, have a better sense of smell than men.
Well, on that note, recently, Best in Ontario Sommelier Championship was won by a young lady. And then 2 years ago in Tokyo, the Best in Award, a Canadian, you know, came second in award.
Wow.
A woman, a young woman.
Hashtag women are better than at everything.
All wines improve with age. True or false?
That can't. Actually, I'm gonna say
It's gotta be false.
That's false. That's
Some wine goes bad.
It's false. Well,
only-
in fact, 90% of wines should be consumed within a year of production.
I'd say that 1% of wine on a global scale production would improve from the aging process. Only.
So 99% should be drank within a year.
Yeah. I mean, in a shorter, you know, period, you know, whatever.
Oenophobia, fear of wine, is a real thing.
Oenophobia?
Gotta
Yeah.
be true.
Yeah, that sounds true.
scared
Because
of
everyone's
anything.
afraid of everything.
Sounds like it would be fear of weenies.
Well, it's true.
It's a reach.
It's a real thing, but we don't have it.
I don't have it.
Is that actually the phobia of, you know, feeling that you run out of wine?
I know a lot of people who have that one. Yeah.
But the lot of Hollywood, you know, how do you call it, this recovery, you know,
Rehabs.
Yes.
they packed with vinophobia. Or
Yeah.
yeah. So
So, Winston Churchill's mother was the inventor of the Manhattan cocktail. True or false?
I should know
It's so
this.
weird. I'm gonna say true.
Yeah, like how did you? Yeah, true.
It's true.
I feel like that's not something you would have come up with
so
as a false
specific.
thing.
I know. It is made with whiskey and sweet vermouth.
Yeah. I like a Manhattan.
Absolutely.
So that was the last one, but I do have a fun fact that I read that I really wanted to tell everyone.
Oh yes, please, Tito. Hashtag Tito's fun fact.
Drinking a glass of milk can cause a person to blow a .02 on a breathalyzer test, and that is enough to cause legal issues in some states.
Milk?
0.02?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know what states, don't ask me.
No, I was gonna say what's in the milk.
That's crazy.
No.
Alcohol.
It's a fun fact, okay?
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Tito, for today's midpoint.
All the
That
minerals.
was good, actually, the questions, I must say.
And that brings us to talking point number 2, sip and spin.
That sounds...
Sign me up.
More and more gyms and fitness events are using alcohol as a way to get people to either join the gym or work out or run a marathon.
That's
About
genius.
time. About time.
That's pretty genius.
And in fact, there are things such as the Chardonnay Run, the Craft Brew Races, the Virginia Wine Country Half Marathon, and the IPA 10K.
Nice.
So do you
Where have I been?
People just puke, right?
So according to a number of people, this was from the Washington Post, a number of the people who are involved in these events said that it actually encourages people to get involved. So people who wouldn't necessarily do a half marathon, if they're going through wine country and they get to stop along the way.
So like instead of water stations is wine stations?
Yes.
Although,
That should be
sounds
illegal.
super
It's
helpful.
dangerous.
Yeah.
What?
Like dehydrating more.
Running
We'll have
while-
water too.
Well, I'm sure there's water as well.
But my
Water
question is,
and
doesn't
wine.
have alcohol like so many calories though? Like, is that
That's
not
why you're running. It balances
Drink
it out.
more.
Is that a counterbalance?
Well,
Like,
that's fitness people would say, no, alcohol has deleterious effects for your health and your fitness level.
Nobody knows what that means.
yeah. What? Like
It's bad for you.
It does the opposite.
Huge
Okay,
word.
yeah, I got it.
if not, you know, consumed within the boundaries of normality.
Right.
I mean, 1 or 2 glasses actually it is
Moderation.
proven medically that helps and actually combats many, diseases, major diseases actually. But I mean, if we start pounding 4 or 5 bottles of wine,
Right.
we dead salami. And also with this marathon and gym and everything, just to add something, wine contains alcohol, obviously, so dehydrates you.
Yes.
I mean, not only that you.
What
Not
wine
that
goes
safe.
best with sweat? Like if you were to go to the gym and you had to drink wine while at the gym, and
Zero.
what would you think to drink?
My friend Natalie last summer, actually this question was already answered. So it's my friend Natalie told me last summer actually that she would use nothing but champagne. And actually,
Classy lady.
that I'm not sure why, but she also explained that it's also does it for suntan lotion, because apparently the bubble magnified the effect of the sunlight, and you get.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm
Wait,
obsessed.
hold on. So you pour champagne on yourself.
It could be
And you
a
get
whole pile
more
of
of a tan.
mumbo jumbo.
This summer
to
we're
tell you
buying
the
up
truth,
tons.
but,
We need to do a remote
showers
segment where we
everywhere.
test this out.
100% gonna tan with champagne on my body. Watch.
again, but I'm not sure if it's really it has any
Sounds valid.
reality to it.
That could be how those Roman orgies started.
Oh, true. Actually, Ori, this next story is for Taco.
Oh, Taco.
Did
Did you know that I have a new cat?
I did not know.
A 3-legged cat named Trio.
Excuse me, Penelope has 3 legs.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah.
Am I
Yeah.
the weird one who has a cat with 4 legs?
Yes, you
that's
are.
That's not in anymore. Like
You're not saving
Is that-
anybody.
yeah.
You didn't
Yeah,
save
she's
an
cute.
animal.
She's so loud though. But anyway.
My animal
so
saved
loud.
everyone. My cat's name is Batman.
Okay,
just
so
loud.
for everybody's 3-legged cats,
Yes.
this company called Apollo Peak has come out with wine for your cat.
I love.
And there's actually a wine for your dog as well. Of course, there's no real alcohol in it. It's catnip.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Why is
it's
it
catnip.
called wine?
So, well, because it's kitty wine. So you don't have to drink alone. So if you're like Bridget
That is so
Jones,
sad.
Is that not sadder than
That is
just
the saddest
drinking
thing I've
alone?
ever heard.
It is
Like,
not
oh
sad.
no, I'm not
it's
alone.
my everyday
cat
life.
is drinking with me.
What's already sadder than owning a cat, though?
Excuse me.
Hey.
Drinking
Go
alone
home.
is not sad.
Get out.
My cat is
Or
the
concerning.
best.
so the different products are the Zinfandel,
Yeah.
the Pinot Meow,
Moscato.
the Moscato,
That's great.
That's a good
That's
one.
a great one.
and for your dog they have a Chardonnay.
Wow, that's actually pretty neat. I have a dog, so maybe I'm gonna
Are these
With the dog,
liquids?
I would have gone. I would
do
have
some
gone with,
Chardonnay with my Fluffy.
I would have gone with Mal Bark.
oh.
Are these liquids?
It's funny. It's
I
funny.
think it's great. I think it's
funny.
Yes,
very
they're
funny.
liquids. So are you gonna
is
have some
happening?
wine with Taco?
Absolutely.
We're
And
all
trio?
a little
Yes.
Okay.
Once I start drinking again.
Okay.
tipsy.
Let us know how that goes.
I will.
I think you
Keep you
said
updated.
in an episode a couple of weeks ago, you burned the phrase that the show was off the rails. You should have saved that for this week because this is off the rails.
Because we are
Cheers.
so off the rails.
Oh.
Okay, so
nice
now it's
clang.
time for endpoints. Actually, Matt, you have a very important endpoint to tell everybody.
When Fred drinks, he has a
at his
stroke,
face.
apparently.
This acting moment right now, like
Anyway, Matt, you
Let's
have a
hear
big
from a real
announcement.
actor.
I do. I am going to be away for like ever. I know.
Well, a few months.
Congratulations, though.
Few months.
Well, 7 months, but sure. So I
That's
am
half
gonna
a
be,
year.
That's
I
a
know.
huge deal.
I'm gonna be in the show Anne and Gilbert in Charlottetown, PEI, Canada.
Wow.
Which is very exciting. But I'm gonna miss the season finale, which
I
is
know.
heartbreaking. So maybe we can FaceTime or something.
Yeah.
On an
let's do
iPad
it.
or
We'll do it.
something?
We'll
I
get
don't know.
we'll
We'll
get
figure
you in
something
here
out.
somehow.
We'll figure
Hopefully-
something out, but that's amazing.
Even if you're live on
Congratulations.
stage,
Congrats, Matt.
we'll bring you.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov!
Mazel tov.
Cheers!
Cheers.
Ding 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 ding.
I can't read.
I love it.
Tito,
That's awesome, guys.
Bop of
I don't
the
have
week.
anything in there.
Bop
So
of
cheers.
the week is Clean Bandit
want-
featuring
No, I'm
Zara
okay, thank you,
Larsson,
sir.
and it's called Smphony.
And it's
That's
amazing.
Smphony.
There's a
It's so
Clean
good.
Bandit. And you just saw Clean Bandit, didn't you?
Last night.
You see everyone. Like it's like You're like a concert goer.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
what they were called?
That's what they're calling the
That's
kids these
exactly
days.
what it is.
Okay.
Zoltan, if
Concert
people
chaser.
want to reach out to you, have questions, want to hire you as a wine educator or consultant, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, they can, I consider your friend as well. They can contact you or maybe go to my very, very rustic and terrible one homepage only website, zsabo.com, and that is spelled ZSZABO.com.
Or Z for our American viewers.
Yes. Or Z, yeah.
Zed.
And of
But
course,
it doesn't rhyme in the alphabet.
And Z doesn't rhyme. No.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, because you're at the end.
Z.
It's done. You don't need to
Anyway.
rhyme it at that point.
You have many Z's and Z's in your name. I like
Yes,
it.
yes.
I like it. Well, thank you, Zoltan, for joining us today and bringing us delicious dessert.
did.
And also
This
by
was-
having the best name of any guest we've had.
Yes,
on the show.
actually, applause
God.
for that. Cheers.
What is it again? Kusanam, yeah?
Kusanam, yeah, Hungarian. Thank you. Yes.
Of course, if you have questions for Zoltan and you want to get to him through us, thepointguys@gmail.com.
Yes.
He's not acting anymore. Now
I'm not
he's really
acting. Now
drunk.
I'm
Get
a
it
little tipsy.
together.
We're on Reverie, the world's largest LGBTQ online streaming service. Check us out there.
got a hard
at
lean going on right now.
TV. What?
You got a hard lean going on.
Hard lean. Patreon. Our crowdfunding site is patreon.com/thepointguys. Check us out for the audio podcast on
Oh my
iTunes.
God.
And then there's like YouTube, youtube.com/thepointguys.
Fred's
And
only ever seen a drunk Valley girl.
Yeah, I don't know what is this
subscribe
drunk-
to us on YouTube. Means a lot to us, helps us greatly, costs you nothing. And of course, for everything The Point, check us out online at thepointguys.net. Thank you, Zoltan.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you for
everyone
having me.
else.
Thank you.
So you know we are taking another week off, but we will be back in another week after that. And then we go for the home stretch in May and June straight through to the season finale. So we will have a Beside the Point next week, a
I'll
little
see
something
you-
extra.
I'll see you guys next season.
I know, see Matt in season
no.
2, but we'll see you next week. We have a new show every Tuesday, so we will see you next Tuesday on The Point.
Bye-bye.
I just want some more wine.